Nope. It still has one free. Yeah, I made sure. I made sure. Heck, technically, if you play it off right, you just say you're using your boot and doing a brawl with the boot. Totally do a "This is Sparta" move. I was gonna say which campaign is that? There's nothing more annoying than having a keyboard on your lap and you keep hitting Control C, Control P, and you're not copy pasting, and you're realizing I'm holding the keyboard for my work laptop in my lap when my laptop is right in front of me, and I'm getting pissed because it's not copy pasted. It's been that kind of day. Yeah, I mean, I totally threw the idea out there since we were, idea mashing. Oh, look at y'all already plotting and planning. I'm liking that. So the question is, like Golda was asking, what era would you be in? That rebel solo era. See, you cleverly fell for my ruse, where I walked you down the path to answer the question, so it wasn't me answering the question. You have been rused like by a spy. I was gonna say, what is this talking? You're spies. You're not supposed to talk. Oh wait, you're spies. You're not supposed to be fighting unless you really have to. So that'll totally buy me time to pull up another map real quick. It works in game and out. Yep. There's still some aliens that are working seditiously with the Empire. I would jokingly say probably less aliens in the group than our Imperial group that didn't quite become an Imperial group. Your special squad was doomed from the start because every human supremacist of the Empire would just look down upon you. I have not yet. I was just barely getting in, but a Padawan. 13, yeah, a, a tween. The best thing about apparently, yes, we're tweens. In that game, we're tween Padawans on 66 seconds after Order 66. It is super catchy. I just gotta say that. He he walks into the room and goes, Padawan, and you go, Master, and you start running towards each other, and then inevitably, in his silhouette, all of a sudden his chest blows open, and there's a stormtrooper, a clone trooper, standing behind him, gunning him down from behind, right in front of your eyes. Just remember, you got to use that force move to grab that lightsaber. Oh, see, I made sure to at least get the basic power of move. My guy's going to be all about spending that 50 experience to get the scavenger tree where I can just come up with shit out of scavenge. Because we're going to be cash poor in that game. My sniper was ridiculously cash poor. Your share went into those repairs on all those 4 purple planets. Should be an interesting group. So apparently he became a little druggy. Nobody likes those little 13-year-old tweakers. As I joked on Sunday, it's probably going to be really difficult having 2 different halves of a group. One that wants to stay undercover as Padawans, and the other that's going to be just feeding stupid shit. All I know is my guy is totally going to have to get a day job and make sure everybody has a place. work the money deals. My Roll20 just like locked up big time. Yeah, the inspiring rhetoric. Yeah, it's totally one of the consular ones of it's just talk. I talk my way through all the problems. Yeah, it doesn't have the improved version. It's one of those of you don't get much of an improvement. Wow, in Roll20, I just deleted a token, and the four circles still stayed popped up, even though the token was gone. Could be the really fancy map I got. It's not that fancy. Da 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 da. Okay. You know what this means? That means I'm not the last one here. We'll see. We can always say it in chat too, so that way we don't lose track. Wow, that's a nice picture. So I'm trying to look for certain pictures I've already built maps for on other lobbies, and I'm like coming across a really nice map that I need to make a map for because it's a really nice map. Roll20 is. See, then I'll pull the big easy caveat and say, but on the Roll20 chat, it doesn't start till 7:30. So technically, yeah, if you log out of the game and look at the start time of the game, it's supposed to be 7:30. Yeah. No, no, it's always been that. Because back when I normally get out of work at 6:30 in the fall. So is everybody here? I think Kelly's muted in the other room. You're not muted? I'm sure there's a joke there. Who's got the mute button now? And then the Sith wakes up with the plasma grenade. Deflect this! That's totally the one BT was given for the death before dishonor. If you're going to be captured, pop one of these off. You are completely unaffected by this. Okay, so let me start off. Y'all were arguing in the lobby there, but I'm going to hit Roll20 and refresh it real quick because it is acting super laggy. And all those poor lies that have just failed upon failed. When you practice to deceive. And here I thought it was. As you guys are all up in the Moth's office. Patow! Oh, yeah, you want to do that, don't you? I was totally waiting for, Gunter to get back. The pool is clear. And some of you were like right on the ball there. Sin, you are our only hope. Sin always comes in. You dark evil bastards. Sin's just in it for the paycheck. So, well, she's a moth. I figure give her some opulence. You got to really see her cast iron size. It's already there to intimidate Kopesh. As I'm making squares that don't exist. Because he left that area. And that's totally your security guy you're trying to frame, by the way, that was told to step out. As we've got the protocol droid and the little secretary. No, no, we're talking about the original security guy, the original guy you were trying to frame. Now you're trying to frame the other guy, yeah. Yet, as everybody goes, since we haven't had any plans explained by our Sith Lord, who's like, let's go, people. Let's just go. Go ahead and give me, yep, give me your cool roll. I'll let you go cool at this point. That elevator ride was very cooling. Since like I'm vigilant, I'm not cool. I don't know what you're talking about. What are these words you're saying? I don't understand that. It's convenient when you. It's a great picture and it's super convenient. I hope it's just a regular gank and not the gank. The initiative, cool. Yeah, it's cool. We have to have the Wookiee. That makes me think the plan is to ditch the Wookiee. So much going on in this scene. So many damn things going on here. My initiative box is so big. Hey, did it almost format it in correct order? Almost. Okay, so the moth, she's definitely Miss Angry Pants right now. She's not. She. Yep. That makes you happy. As she immediately commands you to surrender to the security forces so we can straighten this out. Nope. No, because then some. It was not actual Kenan Cannon. It was beer and pretzel. When we mean a month ago. Which, by the way, now it's the 6th. Make sure to keep an eye on RingCon for signing up for the games that are being posted soon. What? That's unacceptable. Hmm. Ow! Previous builders. Gotta love that crap. Ooh. Why would we run coax when you have an extension cord handy? Come on. Yeah, go ahead and surrender to the security forces so we can straighten out this misunderstanding. She says it with such political correctness. And that's totally her turn. And pretty much at that moment, you guys totally hear a stormtrooper transport pull up and a group of stormtroopers jump out. It's only like 8 troopers and a commander. Or I should say Sith troopers, Sith shock troopers. Sith shock troopers were in trouble now. Well, that's their version of stormtroopers. You knew that she had them on the planet. They were there before. Oh, so who's doing what? I know that's just some other guy in the office. He's the guy that totally didn't like Kopesh's answers. Well, that and it was blatantly lies. Sure, my commander smashed his data pad. Yeah, that sounds totally like him. As BT remembers from a previous life where she was wiped, where it was take the prisoners to the detention center and wipe the droids. BT just has this vague out of body experience. Damn. So Kopesh is going first. As she totally wrinkles her nose at you when you say that. Are you throwing in any skill there on top of it, or just saying that? Okay. I mean, don't want any new despairs coming up anytime soon. Okay, so she basically, gives a very subtle gesture to her little secretary over here, as she just kind of wrinkles her nose at you and says, "My security forces are merely securing the perimeter of the building, unless they're needed." And she totally squares her chin and eyes on you, where she imagines your eyeballs are in your helmet. So who's doing what? Nobody's gonna like grab the receptionist and take a hostage? This is the Sith Empire. Good help's hard to find. It could provide some cover, yeah. Some kind of pot that would at least provide visual cover, if not It would provide concealment, but probably not much cover. Dare I ask which direction you're pointing your rifle when you take cover behind it? As on that, the stormtroopers kind of spread out. Ugh, we're the poor guy stuck alone. And they take some oh so subtle positions. Hup, 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 hup. And is anybody doing anything else? There's this tense standoff. Who's going to be the one to pull a trigger? She whips out two little grenades and arms them both. I'm going to get you. If you don't get out of my way, I'm going to get you. Okay, so who's going next then? Sin's a professional. She's taking the note from you guys. If you're dropping bodies, she'll drop some bodies. But she needs to know for sure. Well, Griggs did jump behind cover, so that says something. looks looks out the window, sees the stormtroopers spreading out. Mm-hmm. Someone gonna die. I heard someone say, "Well, you're not gonna be in the someone shoot out the window so I can throw in a grenade and get those three guys all together." You can jump into the nice pawn display. It provides cover from BT's plasma grenade, right? Does it give me advantage for putting the water out, the flames out? Yep, you got the little entrance here and the entrance here. With the big window here, the big window here, and the big window here. That's a big window with a little sign above it. That is a door over here. It is closed. I mean, there are seats. I mean, it's totally DMV seating. Okay, so everyone's moved where they want to move before apparently things are going to start happening. As that 00 NPC, you're totally going to hear over the little secretary's control panel. She gets a whoop 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 for an incoming transmission, and she hits the waves her hand over the button, and immediately a imperial officer is sitting there and just says, "This is Imperial Communications Officer Cohen with a response for the Moff's message. Please direct me to the Moff personally. This is for her ears only." And she totally hits the mute button, the pause button, and she looks over at the Moff, who just lifts one eyebrow, and that way you know someone's in trouble. Someone's going to get a ruler. And she totally looks at you, Kopesh, and the fact that your men are spreading out across this room, very tactically speaking here. And she says, "I would like your men to stand down and go up to the briefing room where we can all have a nice conversation." And she totally lifts up her wrist or her wrist communicator, and she waves her hand over it real quick, and you totally hear that there's a open channel right now in her communicator. And she nods at her receptionist, who you're assuming is probably put the signal she just received from a communications officer on board of a Star Destroyer over to her for her own ears only. And there's just silence because she hasn't said anything yet. Who's doing what? And if it helps, she's having it on her wrist communicator, which is like having your cell phone on speakerphone. So it's not private. Well, that's if you had the equipment. Do you have a communications jammer? I don't believe you do. It's an actual piece of equipment. The fur is actually a misdirection. Everyone's waiting on your decision, I think. And she just busts out with a little laugh, saying, just like cutting people down with blasters and lightsabers is a nice thing to do. I've never known a Sith to be so easily threatened. And it's back over here behind her, and she totally gestures to said elevator. What do you do, Kopesh? Your team's all looking at you. The accommodations back in the briefing room are much more comfortable, as you know. And the troopers are here to secure the premises, not to threaten a Sith Lord in any way. As Kopesh is wanting to have this staring contest going off. And the protocol droid will totally take her cue that she's going to go to the elevator too. I mean, she is the key to the elevator after all. As she politely says, "Excuse me, Lord Kopesh." And she totally swivels her head 180 around, so she's walking one way, she's looking backwards, and she please asks to have communication routed up to the conference room. Please advise the Lord Commander. We will be in the communications area shortly. And of course, when she says that, you totally you know what that means. That's your buddy back on the Imperial cruiser there. That's who's on call waiting right now. So I missed what Kopesh's comment was there. And she as she again gestures for the rest of you to come to the elevator, since it looks like at least three of you are reasonable beings. Well, then, well, that's where she wants you to go. Are you not going to the elevator, BT? Okay. So as most of your group is going, Kopesh, you have the last initiative slot. What are you doing? This is Well, your token is still standing face to face with her, so I like how Kopesh says goons and he's got a goon squad. She has Imperial troops. Okay. So is everyone complying and getting in the lift? That's the big thing I need to know. The troopers outside? No, they're here to secure the premises. Period. The fact that you just said that there's traitors in her high command? In Imperial finery, there may be a whole series of decimation needed to be done. So, Kopesh, are you getting on the lift? She's heading towards the lift. Her silly little game. Okay, so of course, you get in the lift, you zip up to that beautiful conference room, only this time the hollow view is totally turned off and it's just a plain white imperial, beautifully clean environment. And she just yeah, she totally giggles when you comment about a trap as if one could trap a Sith Lord. Your powers of perception through the Force should be undeceivable. I feel that merely having you in my presence has got me safe as a Gundark in a mother's pouch. So she goes over to her spot and sits down at her spot at the table, which you totally notice has been cleaned since you guys were there last. And she totally hits the button on her comm and waves it to her communications on the table. And a communications officer pops up on, typical Imperial Star Destroyer communications officer with his little uniform. And she says, "You may connect us to the Lord Commander." And he totally sweats and he's looking off camera in the distance and totally clicks a button and your Imperial Sith Lord friend is on the monitor as she's totally got her back to the camera and she's just standing in pure silence with looks like she may have one of her hands on her chin contemplating, but she's being dead silent. And y'all know for a fact the communications channel would have made a little bip once you got connected. And the moth just looks at you and says, "So would you like to explain the situation again?" As you all are. Do you all sit at the table or do you just stay standing at the table? Oddly. As there's a very long, awkward 30-second. Everyone in the room is thinking, what, does Sith practice staying silent? 30-second pause until you just hear her break the silence with a, "Yes, please address her question." And Moth totally steeples her fingers at the end of the table and says, "If he confessed, then obviously you have a recording of the confession." "I have it on good authority that the room was set up for surveillance, since the room is meant for interrogation purposes." as she totally hits a button all very quiet nonchalantly on her panel, and you totally see where Cal ripped open the panel to rig up his little communications device that he left behind. And she just lifts up that one eyebrow again and looks at the featureless helmet of Kopesh. I question the validity of your results. Is anyone chiming in? Or is anyone secretly thinking I hate it when mommy and daddy fight? Sith mommy and Sith daddy. So I take it you're addressing that to the sector commander and not to the Moff. And you see her kind of turn her head slightly towards the screen to where you can just see like a hint of an eye, but she does not make face to face contact with the screen, which is very odd. And she just says coldly, and go on. Obviously, the Lord Commander is wanting to hear more. And of course, the Moff at the end of the table there kind of sparkles her eyes. As the Lord Commander of the sector wants you to go on explaining more about the confession. She says, tell me more of the confession. Truly, he could not have been the lone gunman since he was on site of the assassination carried off long distance. Dare I ask which companion you're gesturing to? And she just coldly says, and what if he lied to you before you gunned him down? Okay, so give me a deception check. Thankfully, it's not against the Sith Lords. She's just listening, but it is against the Mop. As apparently Kelly's mom just got home, so Kelly has to go talk to her real quick. And we have an upgrade there. And then we'll find out if BT is shaking in his servos. And oh my god, we're now down to all dark side points. Yep. Oh, Jesus. As immediately while you're. And it was a fair roll, too. As immediately, just on almost as if someone had a little PowerPoint presentation set up, you're seeing the two little mini probe droids that came in with the inspector and that are totally taking evidence pictures in real time, but you're getting the HUD display of like, here is the smashed data pad pieces. You know, here's a possible trajectory. Here is the commander's pistol unfired. Here's the commander's DNA, and it shows the blood splatter is, highlighted beautifully, as well as the puddle on the floor around him. And then a little 3D display of his wounds on his body. Darth Vader never had a problem with people shooting first. And you get the feeling that neither one of them are buying what you're selling, but you do have three advantage. Interesting. Just wait till Kelly looks at the screen. As we're all waiting on it. Well, you're on the level above, so yeah. We were waiting for you to read. Well, looking there we go. That's what we were waiting on, was the reaction to that. So you regained some strain and whatnot, and what was that third one being used for? Okay, so you all hear him say the words, and you yourselves don't even believe them, even though you know the truth. The moth totally, the timing of her, as you all get the general feeling that what he's selling, they're not buying, but they're letting him go through the motions because why not? And do you say that? Is that where the despair comes from? And and she does this like very loud eye roll as she looks towards the screen with the Sith Lord Commander on it, and she says, "With your permission, Lord Commander, what would you like done in this situation?" And she just kind of shrugs nonchalantly with her little cloak covering up, what's really going on with her body language, as she says, with Kopesh's testimony that he is aware of who the conspirators are, clearly he can provide that information to this small cabal in this room. And she turns around towards the camera finally. And when she does, when she does, she looks a little out of sorts compared to when you saw her last. She has like a slight little pimple on her cheek, and she's got some sallowness to her eyes. It looks like she hasn't had sleep. But that's about it, thankfully. But that pimple, yep. Okay, So who's gonna do what? You guys have the general feeling that they're not believing Kopesh's words. They're wanting Kopesh to say, "Tell me who the assassin is." Are you? I mean, you just have to say you're recording so we know that you are. I mean, you would need actual editing equipment, which is not built into you. Yeah, it would be like in real life doing the whole movie editing bit. You'd need, the proper equipment and stuff. So Kopesh said he lost sound. As the despair was the Sith Lord Commander choking the sound out of his throat. He can still hear his own gasps for air. As is anyone wanting to do anything? Oh, there you go. You are back. Because this is what happens when you tangle with the dark side and you roll despair. so who's so who's going first? She seems to have just a little pimple and lack of sleep. You know, it's funny. It looks like as if she's missed like 3 days of sleep, and you saw her less than 10 hours ago. And in case you didn't hear Kopesh, she says, "Since you are so sure, who is the assassin? Share with this elite cabal in privacy." Whose feet are up on the table, and he's all relaxed, and he's like, as all of a sudden the group's realizing we had a plan. So Grix, he looks at you. Pressure's on you. Is literally three pairs of powerful eyeballs all look at you. The Moff, the Lord Commander, and Kopesh. Oh yeah, and wasn't he like your mentor too? In that case, no, you totally forget his name right off the bat. And immediately you see the Sith Lord gesture off camera to somebody. And how good of a blah 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 are you going to give? I mean, are you going to give just his code name for the Republic as one of their top military snipers, or are you going to give his code name and his real name? How far are you going to sell this guy down the river? Ooh. As as immediately the commander's little guy is doing his thing. Typey, typey, typey. Typey, typey, typey. Typey, typey, typey. As obviously the Lord Commander does not get a affirmative answer one way or another, which is totally Imperial intelligence for a shrug. And she just looks and says, "Tell me more of him. Where is he now? How do you know him so well?" And she totally does the Sith Lord squint. Gotta make you think she's reading your mind after all. And then there's more long silence. Is anyone gonna break the silence? You burp in your helmet and immediately regret it. There could be worse things you do in your helmet. So no one else is saying anything else? As she returns her look back to Kopesh and says, "Is this all you're bringing to me information wise?" Weren't you supposed to bring me a prisoner? As you literally get like simultaneous sighs from both the Moff and the Sith Lord. And the Moff totally chimes in because she's totally your champion and says, "And what proof do you have that this mysterious unknown assassin is the one that pulled the trigger?" Was this information on his data pad? And she totally looks she looks up at the Lord Commanders on the monitor and she totally does this very apologetic bow of her head and says, "I was unaware that Sith were incapable of capturing a single man alone against," and she totally does this visually points her finger at each of you, counting your heads, in a room with at least 5 agents. You say that? And the Moff totally looks at her little desk's chrono display, and she looks up at the monitor and again does this very polite bow to the Lord Commander and says, uh, uh, Lord Commander, I do agree with Lord Kopesh here that perhaps we should allow them to go about their business and allow things to go back to normal. And she totally looks at you, Lord Kopesh, and I apologize profusely for delaying your inquisition any longer. And needless to say, she doesn't even try to do deception. She's totally just saying the words, but they're not reaching her eyes. She's doing the hand gestures, but it's still not reaching her eyes. And you say that as the. Mm-hmm. And she totally looks at the Sith Lord and says, I think it's in the best interest of all if we let them go. And she totally bows her head. But perhaps the little droid could provide more information. Nothing of the sort. I was going to say who's got the best vigilance or willpower. It's one of your basic characteristics. Ooh, two yellows, pretty good. Is that better than the rest of y'all? Oh no, yeah, you don't need to roll it. Yeah, she's rolling on her side. Oh yeah, you totally believe her when she smiles, that predatorial smile she has. That's totally changed from the whole straight face she was giving you guys early. She has nothing planned for you. And Lord Commander, I think it's in the best interest of all parties involved that they leave my planet as soon as possible. You're not idiots. Well, no, it's not that she's nice. It's just that you're not reading anything off of her. You're assuming she's got all kinds of shit planned for you, but she's not giving you any tells other than she's saying, "Let's get them off this planet." And she looks at you, Kopesh, and she says, "Lord Kopesh, with the Lord Commander's permission, I will gladly summon a transport to take your elite crew back to your vessel. And she totally looks up at the view monitor that's got the Lord Commander on it, and the Lord Commander totally is like, for a moment there, she was ignoring you guys and listening to somebody else off camera, and she says, "Yes, yes, Kopesh, yes. If you would do me the favor to at least following the bare minimum of my request of you and return with the body of the traitor. I know you were originally intended to bring him alive, but at least bring his corpse back with you." And you you say that, and she totally takes a finger up to her temple and just rubs for a second. Little obvious frustration there. And then she just looks at you and says, "So you're opting not to follow up with what you intended to do originally and provide me the information in person?" And she gives out this long, interesting sigh as she totally gestures to someone off camera and make some comments, because obviously there's some hubbub going on up in the ship there. No, no, nothing like that. There's excitement on the ship. Just excitement on the ship. Almost as if a viral outbreak was happening on board a ship. As she says, "So what evidence that you cannot provide here and now will help you in your hunt for this assassin? Can you provide us with that information? Where are you going?" But they would be willing to speak with you? And she totally has the Legasp face on. Very well. Then your crew should take off from this planet. When you arrive, and she totally looks over to the Moff, when they arrive at their ship, please see to it that they are provided a probe droid to go with them in case they need to contact me at any time. One of the special squad of droids that I've provided for you will be very sufficient in providing the needed contact directly with me. I would hate to find out you were killed in some filthy backwaters cantina and unable to fulfill your commitment to me. And she totally drives home the commitment to her. I was going to say, which relationship is that? Well, no, you just took a job from her. That's the commitment she's talking about. And as you turn to walk out, you go to the lift door and it just stays in the locked position. And the moth on her far end of the table away from you seems unimpressed, but she's strumming her fingers on her datapad. I mean, after all, she did say she would. And she just totally just, looks down at her pad, just gesturing with her eyes and saying, I'm arranging the transportation I promised you back to your ship. It should be arriving in exactly 1.5 minutes. As you totally notice that your insults are barely taking effect. But what is your cunning, Kopesh? Yeah, for your cunning retorts here. I'll take I'll take either or. As she does not lose her cool. You say your words and you just see just her temperature does not change on her face at all. She maintains a nice composure the whole time you're making little snide remarks. As she totally turns off the Lord Commander's screen with the Lord Commander's gesture, and she just looks across the table at Kopesh's back of his head and just throws out one little tort of, no wonder why you want a true Darth. But Darth has weapons and teeth. You just have words that you waggle. And she makes sure this is quietly said, but loud enough to go across the room and be heard by all of your compatriots. And as she says that, she gestures to the droid to open the door. And then, just as the door opens, are you guys heading into the lift? Oh no, she's staying in her spot on that table still. She didn't even get up to. And as soon as your whole crew is on the lift and the droid gestures for you to come on, she has a little retort that she throws out there saying, you may leave now, Kobesh. And you notice the definitive lack of Lord in front of Kopesh. Well, you're a Sith warrior. You should be called the Lord. Be like calling a Jedi Master. Well, then the rub doesn't hurt then. As you get in, the droid is noticeably nervous, and she takes you down to the first floor and walks you to the door, where conveniently there is a Imperial transport ready to take you guys. It's totally one of those APC transports. Oh, the guards have still stayed in their positions. They don't even know what exactly they're there for. They were just told to come and secure the perimeter. They're here for peacekeeping purposes. Okay, so you guys, well, currently you realize that the Moss camp compound, the entrance is not letting any vehicles in or out, except for, say, this one. But you can totally walk to the entrance if you want. As the protocol droid will immediately contact, you totally see her lean her head down and use her communicator to contact the Moff that you guys are not taking the transport, but you're walking. And the protocol droid seems to have no problem with that. So, who's got the best perception in the group? Okay, so whoever's got the best, go ahead and roll your perception. Yep, the pool is all ready. As you totally notice with your two successes that remember how there's those probe droids floating all over town keeping track of things? You totally have a nice distance escort of two probe droids are following you specifically. I mean, they're keeping pace with you perfectly, but making sure to keep a nice, good distance from you. And the two threat is basically you turned around to one of them and looked them right in the photoreceptors. Ta-da! I mean, it was totally expected, but you can verify that. Okay, so you have a nice long walk back to the ship. You notice quite a few people scurry away because the probe droids are only like 200 feet away from you guys, and there's two of them flanking the streets. So people try to avoid those whenever they see them. So you guys eventually get to your ship. You totally. Mm? Yeah. Now, quick question. While you're saying that, are your built-in comms on your suit encrypted? Have you purchased that? As you guys start shattering in your helmets, and you totally see the Viper droids' antennas pop up, as you have a feeling that they're listening in for communications. Okay, so you guys immediately get over to the pot, where your ship is, and there happens to be a pair of Imperial troopers sitting there waiting with a probe droid floating between them. Guy's got his little data pad connected into the droid, doing its total update and maintenance. Probably wiping it ahead of time, so anything that's on it's not on it now. And Cal, do me a favor. Give me a mechanics check as you guys get up there. There was a long pause, so I might as well use it. Did we lose Cal? Jeff, did we lose you? So much desyncing going on. Now it's just one dark side. So Cal, give me a quick mechanics check. As obviously there's a cat in the landing bay. It must be the landing pad cat. It's a Loth cat. Ooh, congratulations. You clearly see when you guys come up, he pulls out his data port and closes the hatch and hits a button. And you clearly know that this droid has a self destruct unit on it, by the way. You clearly see that he just armed the self destruct, so it's extra touchy. I mean, you can totally attempt to do what you want, but you know that this guy's got a self destruct on it. It's not like thermal nuclear self destruct, but it basically keeps anyone from, getting the information on this if they try to screw with it and fail. This is the GM saying forewarned and foretold that this thing will blow itself up. And it's not as dramatic as IG to say, I'm a self destruct rather than being captured. It will just hit the button. Standard Imperial. And they're waiting for you, and they basically give you a nice polite gesture, let you know that your ship is completely fueled up and ready to go at your leave. The local command and control has a priority channel, and they hand you a card, so you can call in on that channel, so they will give you a priority exit from the planet. Everyone's being super cordial. It's great. Pray Kopesh doesn't alter the deal further. Do you say that to them? As the two techs totally look over at BT, who when BT walked through the weapon scanner, it was all kinds of red on the bars. And the two Imperial guys kind of like they put their hands up in that whole hey, we're just following orders. And the probe droid totally does this whole puffs up and moves forward towards you, and totally plays a hollow vid of the you'll give them one of my probe droids, and that's his equivalent of his blocking the argument. And he totally just goes to where the loading ramp is, like he's waiting for you to open the ramp for him. The droid, yeah. Well, remember, you open the airlock and there goes your cargo hole. Droid's giving you Stonewall. That's his form of intimidation. And then you see his little antenna, his long range communications antenna rise up, and his cold photoreceptors just staring at you. In the back of your head, you're hearing, I can't leave, Dave. What do you do? Totally up to you. As everyone in the group is looking at Kopesh's back of his head. Okay. As soon as the loading ramp comes down, immediately the little doo 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 doo, and it's starting to go towards the ramp. Can you move a silhouette 2 item? Yeah, it's the one that Han Solo and Chewie shot. No, it's an Imperial Viper probe droid. It's able to fly off a planet if it needs to. That's the whole point. If you get blown up in space, it'll survive on the ship. Okay. So you purposely go for an entrance that's too big to get into then, right? Interesting. Okay. As this So what is it you tell to your crew as you're heading towards the small entrance and not the big cargo ramp? As the probe droid sees you guys going to the small door, and when you open it, it just gives kind of a floaty nod and goes floating to the top of the ship. Blue, 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 blue. And you see how it's got all those tool arms and weapons stuff underneath it. And it just, like a big octopus, starts grabbing onto the top of your ship and holding on. And again, they've got their hands up like this ain't our business. We gave you the droid. It's nesting on the top of your ship right now. It succeeded on its mechanic check. It totally just like cuts some spots where it can clamp onto it, and unless something crazy happens, it's nestled up on top of your ship. I mean, it's not like it needs to breathe in space. As Cal is probably dying as you hear it take a laser cutter and go, and it wraps its tentacle inside. What? It's not doing anything structural. It's just making sure it's got secure handholds. You wouldn't let it in the ship, so it's following your words. It's outside the ship. Are you guys doing anything, or are you taking off? Well, you already told it it's not allowed on board, so it's found other means. You can always invite it on board. I mean, that's a thing. The Wookiee's calling you on semantics. Okay, so what are you guys doing? Yep. So what is the plan? It's currently nestling down, and you see it hunker down, so hopefully it doesn't get hit by anything on the way off the planet. I mean, you can't be that bad at pilots. So you guys buttoning up in your ship. I mean, technically, from what Cal told you about, its bomb would not blow up your ship. Even if it was nestled right there and it blew itself up, it would mostly destroy itself and maybe do a point or two of damage. I mean, unless it somehow got into your ship in the engine room and blew itself up, that's the only way it would really do any major damage. It's meant to leave an unrecognizable pile of slag behind. Cal's like, I've totally seen these things melt down. They just leave a pile of scrap. Not even usable scrap. Okay, so what are you guys doing? Okay, so you guys are getting in the ship because you wouldn't open the big door for the little guy. We'll call him Little Guy. That's his code name. And you guys take off. Where are you heading? Paper? What is this paper stuff? As he makes charcoal in a stick. Okay, you guys are having Pictionary. So you guys are having a total non-verbal, non-communications communication. So what is your conversation? Now the question is it going to be that same planet where you were cheered as a hero for taking him out already? Twice. Well, you were because you took out the sniper and then you took him out for reals the second time. Remember with that whole canyon and the snipers and yep. Nope. Okay, that's what I'm saying is are we going back to that planet? I mean, you guys are big damn heroes there. I mean, it's a good plan. Y'all big damn heroes in that place. Okay, so you guys well, I was totally going to throw it out there as you're taking off on the planet. Does the pilot want to try to sideswipe something or some other ship? I mean, the ship will totally take some damage if you do that, but it might totally be worth it. Oh, look at that! Now I'm back on the board, boys. Yep, let me set up your pool for you as you're taking off, and you're going to try to just bump into something and take 2 wounds on the ship, but see if you can get rid of him. With your piloting, you can add a blue, or you could. It's going to be planetary, or do you want to do it in space? I'm assuming space. It's a spaceship. Hmm. It would just be adding a blue. So I've got your difficulty set in there. Let me put your upgrade in there. Okay, you're good to go. Yep, I got the upgrade. And the blue because you have a co-pilot helping you. As you totally go into a billboard, he doesn't have the piloting tree yet. So is it a combat one or is it just anything with agility? Okay. So you totally careen into like a billboard type of thing and you're like, haha, and you look back and it's still looking, hooked up on stuff and you just see it's got some scratches on it along with the two hull damage that you took on the ship. It's got some minor paint damage as it totally shakes a tentacle at the bad pilot. But you do have four advantage. What would you like to use that for? Now the question is, do you want to take three of your advantages there and save them for next time to get an upgrade on the same thing but somewhere else? God bless you. Okay, so you best remember that you got those because I'll totally forget. And that's totally GM speak for I don't want you to knock off your little friend. I still have to come up with a quirky droid name for him. Yep. So you get it because you're getting crucial information on. Okay, so I hit that side of the ship. It didn't do anything. I'll have to hit the other side of the ship. And don't forget to record the. Yep. Yeah, an upgrade for it. And don't forget to someone to mark off two hull trauma on the ship. Cal's going. And we will say that is a good place to wrap it up there. And the question is, who on command control that was watching your guys' takeoff sees you divert just to cream into something, and they're just like, "Oh my god, these guys! No wonder why they're getting them off this planet. These guys!" As we see under the table, there's. I will totally say you got 10 experience, and you're lucky at that. But you've earned some friends. I mean, you now have a reputation. I mean, It's going down in the annals of history that these guys on this ship are liars, liars and deceivers, and yep. So we will go ahead and wrap it up there. And the question is, are you guys for reals heading to that planet? For reals.